Hello and welcome to Module 3, Week 3 of our MOOC on the recommendation of youth work. So I'm Robert, and this is my first module that I'm presenting, and this is going to be around why we need a recommendation on youth work. Yeah, so why a recommendation on youth work? So in the previous module, we've discussed the framework from which this recommendation sprung and the organizations and institutions involved. So this module now is about the context which encouraged this to happen and why these institutions and bodies were interested in creating a recommendation on youth work. So that boils down to one question: why youth work? And it's the belief that young people as a social group, as citizens and individuals, are essential to the fulfillment of the values of the European Union, of the values of Europe, democratic values, and for the economic prosperity of our societies and communities. And for young people to be fully engaged citizens, youth work is seen as a critically compulsive element of this to create an environment of opportunity for young people. So that's one of the background reasons for the recommendation. So let's look at the context that young people are living in at the moment. So we're living in what could be called a rapidly changing context, where current generations of youth are facing challenges which previous generations did not, and is becoming increasingly challenging over time. The transition from transition towards independent living, or the transition towards a destination family, is unthinkable for the situations that some young people are in with regards to accessing quality education and quality employment. The PACE Committee, the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, in 2012 called the current generations of youth generations sacrificed, and that really sums up the systematic institutional barriers that young people are facing as a social group and as individuals. So this is the context in which youth work comes as a solution. So how is youth work presented as a solution? Well, the recommendation discusses a package of experience needed for young people to find opportunities to overcome these barriers they're facing. So it's a mosaic of formative and enabling experiences. So enabling again, so it's this, that is then touching again of this theme of young people needing to be provided opportunity instead of being viewed as a problem being solved. So this is presenting packages of experiences which are enabling, as opposed to presenting solutions to problems which are young people, as that is not the thematic that they are rolling with in this recommendation, quite rightly. So what are these packages of experiences? So first we have schooling, there's mobility, exchanges, advice, information, counselling, guidance and coaching, and engagement with technology, social media, and political participation. So these are part of this mosaic of formative and enabling experiences. So we can think here, what role does youth work play in each of these in regards to allowing young people to access information, counselling, guidance. Some of these are far more apparent in which role youth work would have in them than others. And the goal of this is to create active citizens, so young people who are critically and actively engaged in their community at all levels and in all spheres of their life, whether that's cultural, economic, social, political, and also to create young people who are labour market ready. And so this is touching off of the social and political and economic value of youth work. So yes, we're seeing a stage is being set here where there's really the value of youth work is being recognised, and we can see in this context why a recommendation on youth work would be something that was being considered and has happened. So youth work delivering this mosaic that they reference. So youth work provides typically non-formal educational opportunities and non-formal educational spaces for learning. So in these spaces, youth work can be delivering the mosaic, and also uniquely tackles the question of how young people are able to gain life skills. These life skills in the 21st century, and always, I imagine, have always had critical thinking skills, decision making, teamwork, communication, problem solving. You can see youth work is the perfect environment. A non-formal environment is really a great space to be learning these skills. As I used the word typically before, this really, again, plays into this theme of youth work not being something you can put a hard-cast label on, that it's diverse in its forms by nature of it being responsive to this environment it is in. So the circumstances that the young people is engaging with and what young people are aiming to get out of youth work will dictate what youth work is. Youth work lives within this value of voluntary and active participation. So what young people are expecting from youth work and want from youth work will shape what it is to a large degree. However, within this diversity of forms, there are common grounds. So there's the common ground that youth work provides these spaces for young people, a forum for young people to be young people, and to have spaces within these spaces to develop for self-development. There's opportunities for development, an enabling environment for young people that is open, and young people can be young people. And there's an aspect of a line of the recommendation, a great line, is that it boldly calls youth work a critically compulsive element of education, and that this is an entitlement of all young people. So it's recognizing that the new unique way in which youth work can offer young people the opportunity to gain these life skills that we touched on before, that these have to be seen as critically compulsive elements of education, and that every young person should have the opportunity to engage in these spaces to gain these life skills. So what was the objective of the recommendation? So the objective was to encourage member states to develop and strengthen youth work policy and practice. So really this recommendation as intergovernmental policy of the Council of Europe, it's identifying the role of the state in providing or actively supporting and enabling youth work. So the environment, the legal framework, the environment that their legal framework creates, how they can influence that environment through their legal framework to enable youth work to thrive and young people to flourish within that provision. So that was the objective, and the Council of Europe Youth Sector played an essential role in the passing of this recommendation on youth work, and they play an essential role in the implementation of this. So the recommendation expressly outlines the role of the Council of Europe in the implementation of this recommendation, and that will be covered, I believe, in Module 6, Week 6 of this MOOC. So that's recommendation 3, I believe, of this recommendation. And the objective, the very macro objective of this recommendation is to maximize the positive effect that we know youth work has, and to document this and to have an all-encompassing review of the policy and legal framework necessary for youth work to thrive and to continue to be recognized at a greater and greater degree. And yes, it's reinforcing commitment to youth work, and beyond that, just recognizing the role of youth work and the delivery of youth work and what youth work is has rapidly developed and will continue to develop within the 21st century. So this is a stock-taking, a moment to stop and say, this is youth work, this is the value of youth work, this is what it provides, and this is what it needs. So that was the recommendation on youth work, and another macro view of what it is doing. It's promoting and reinforcing an understanding of the value and the awareness of the value of youth work in the 21st century. Yes, so now we have a self-reflective exercise. So below this video on our website, there will be a self-reflective exercise attached in either a PDF or in text form below the video. And if you engage with this, consider the questions asked, reflect, engage with this reflective question. There's always the opportunity to email your thoughts to mooc@ecic.org, and then you can perhaps receive some feedback if you expressly ask for it. But most importantly is that you reflect on this MOOC's contents within your own regional or local or national reality. So thank you for watching this module, and good luck with a reflective exercise and with the rest of the MOOC. So thank you very much.